if it's going to be fucked again, I swear to God, I don't even know what I would do, to be fair. It's just kind of strange that it's been that. Yeah, so let's pop out chat from here. Like this, and like this. Right. Is it public? Yes, it's public. That's great. Let's immediately open htop to see how much. Fuck, that's a lot of memory. And these, I imagine, are processor threads that I'm using. Yeah. RAM is indeed filling up, which is strange. Like, it didn't fill up as much on Windows, so it's just kind of strange. I'm essentially just hoping that it's not going to happen again. I really fucking wish. Well, the thing is, I just changed the default settings to other settings, so now it's the default again, so it may be good. Isn't. Okay, so my question is, I don't really understand htop. So this is RAM, correct? And isn't this like a bit too much to be using? Or is it the free memory? Like, I don't get it. Yeah. I don't really understand how to use htop correctly. If this is free memory, holy shit. But I imagine that's the memory that it's using. What is it? Oh, and by the way, even though I like open chat here visually on stream, I can still see it on my phone to the left of me. So I'll be able to see chat now. Okay, well, the threads jumped and now they're back. Half, huh? But it would be a problem if the number was increasing steadily. Yeah, that would be a memory leak, I guess. Well, I have two VS Code windows, the Kita terminal, Firefox, along with the chat, and I'm streaming in 1080 60 FPS. Yes, I finally have. First stream. The third part of this first stream, unfortunately, on Linux. And fuck yeah. I hope that this isn't going to become a problem. The threads keep jumping, but everything is fine still. Let's fucking get to actually doing things. I spend more time trying to stream than stream. Okay, so interface, iVerb. Not sure if you've heard me explain it already or not, but basically, in my program, I have a couple of verbs. So you can short tracker, and then list, add, remove, and do. You could check what is using that much RAM. Sometimes Baloo indexing is a bitch and keeps running in the background, eating your RAM for breakfast. Wait, you're on Linux too? I thought you were on Windows. Sort htop by memory usage. Okay, let's do that. Okay, how do you... Okay, sort by is F6. Really? JK doesn't work? Oh my god. By percent memory. User, BID. Okay, so it's using 250% of my CPU? What? What? That's insane. Wait, am I reading this correctly? BTM can too. What are both of those? What is Baloo? As far as I know, that's just a bear. That's just a literal bear. And I also don't know what BTM is. I've made my laptop into a dual boot Windows and Nix OS. I'm actually dual booting as well. Because maybe, and probably, yes, Windows. Yeah, the CPU percentage is by core. Wait, hold up. No, I don't really get it. That means that it's being overloaded or something? Is it? I decided to dual boot as well in case I need Windows, probably for my job. I'm not really going to need Windows for personal stuff, but maybe I'll need to do something Windows specific on the job, which is why I'm going to keep it. But maybe in the future, when I get like a stable job or become good enough where I can have more choice, then maybe I'll just reinstall Linux only and ditch Windows completely. It's using 3 cores, I guess. Oh, that makes sense. So it's using 2.68 cores. That's great. That's amazing. Okay, so obviously OBS is taking a lot of memory. Other than that, we have some extension. That makes sense. The language server of C# is taking some memory. What's this? Firefox. Okay, well, it hasn't broken yet. In terms of speed, it's actually very fast still, so it should be good still. If you only had 1 core, the CPU percentage is never going to go above 100%. If you had 2 cores, it would never surpass 200%. I see. So the real limit for your system is 800%. Thank you for explaining, because this is kind of confusing. Like, I wouldn't expect that to work that way. I actually just showered. It's so fucking hot in my room, it's ridiculous. I wish I had something like to massively cool down my room. I've been putting ice in a plate and blowing air on it to, like, I guess, make the room colder, but that is not nearly as effective as boiling water to heat up the room is. You could have 8 cores at 13% and be at 104. I guess so. You guys know better than me. That's I know for sure. So, iVerb, an interface, which is actually a suggestion by you, Misha, to combine all of the verbs that I'm mapping here for close to no reason, to have them be based on an interface instead that all of them implement. So then I could run the run method from the interface rather than mapping every single specific class, which I don't really need to do here. Yeah, neither do I. So we know at minimum 3, maybe more. Oh, I guess I see what you're coming at. I don't think we should. I don't think that's the case, because here it's like 250. So it's 150, 300. So it's already bigger than this. I don't think these are related really. Swap. And swap is being used for when you don't have enough memory. So you start using the disk, I guess. Shouldn't I have made swap bigger then? Is that like a real strategy I should have maybe used? And also, this should be fucking live chat by default, because top chat removes some messages if it wants to. And by the way, you can now, I guess, do this like you could in Instagram a few years ago, meaning they implemented the feature a long time ago. And now you can do the same thing on YouTube. Yeah, so let's implement the interface to each of the verbs. We just added because we already implement the run method, so we don't really need to do much. Another VS Code window might just be taking a lot of memory, and I don't necessarily need this really. So maybe I could close it, but before I do that, let's save workspace as this. Yeah. Go to rifle. Now to dot files, VS Code. Okay, so dot code workspace should open with VS Code. So let's close this window, and now if I try to open it with Ranger, it will automatically open it in VS Code. Yes, that's exactly what it does. That's amazing. Great. Cool. So web file imaging should help with slower data by reducing its size that still needs memory, so it gets offloaded to swap. Okay. iVerb makes no sense as a name for that interface. And you also can just don't need to create it at all. C# has the built-in action interface that you could use. Hold up. Isn't action... I don't really get it. Like, how is that, I guess... Is that helpful for me? Let's Google it. iAction. I should specify that it's C#. Oh, amazing. Chat fucking broke on my phone. Okay. Basically, I want to see... why would it show examples? Of course. Why would it? That's crazy. Interesting. Okay, what like methods does it? Am I on the correct thing? Because I don't think that it would just be called action without an I before. Yeah, thought so. Where the fuck should I be then? This? Don't show me anything in fucking Russian. Ooh. Well, hold up. That's a delegate. Lol. That's a delegate. Encapsulates a method that has a single parameter and does not return a value. It does. It does return a value. If you're talking about this, no. No. I was thinking you're talking about the delegate, but it's not helpful in this situation. Maybe I'm on the wrong article again, but considering this, I don't think I am. I don't know, iVerb seems more straightforward to me. Oh, right, I also should like format so it's formatted quote-unquote correctly. Although I don't like how braces are made in C#. I think it's just kind of eh. I was talking about the delegate, but it seems I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't really see like I don't see how this fits into this situation, I guess. Which could be a lack of experience on my part, to be fair, but I think it's simpler to just do it this way. Then I would call the interface iRunnable at least. Once again, an interface name should be an adjective. True, true. That's correct. I'm gonna play the devil's advocate though. In C#, it's very often that interfaces are stupid. So other people looking at my code, who are also C-sharpers, will see iVerb and they're like, got it. That means that all verbs implement this. And it's immediately clear and obvious, rather than iRunnable. Let me show what I'm talking about. So here we are here in verbs. And let's say iVerb is called iRunnable. You can probably guess as being used in the verbs, but you won't be sure until you check all of them. But if it's called iVerb, it's very obvious that, oh, all the verbs need to implement this. I think in the context of C#, naming this iVerb makes more sense, because the way interfaces are often used in C# doesn't make sense to begin with. So in a strange way, following that stupidity will make the code more readable for C-sharpers and make something like you mad, which is fair. You could call it verb and make it an abstract class then. Yeah, and there are abstract methods. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Won't we have a naming conflict though? Because here we're using verb from command line, and here I guess we would be using verb from what I implement. But if it's better, it's better. I think that's the best way, probably, yeah. Ranger, yes, that is Ranger. Amazing thing. And it's now even better on full on Linux, because I can specify what I run each thing with, and it's amazing. Like, let me open another tab and go to something like pictures. I don't know, themes. Let's look at my old shell prompt. And if I press L here, it will open it in the app that I set it up to open. Fuck, this is actually kind of beautiful. If only async prompts in Fish loaded up fast. If only. Because this is honestly kind of cool. Low-key miss it, but you know what I don't miss? The creation of the shell prompt taking like 5 seconds. And true, on Linux it's probably going to cut down to like a second, but that's still way too slow. Especially considering that sometimes I run some slow command, and while it's running I create another pane, do some other command, and once that command here is done running, I close all the other panes to continue on. Basically, very fast type of working speed, I guess. And with long boot up times, it's just not worth it. And I don't know if I can create an async prompt. I probably can't fully in Rust. I'll probably have to have some configuration along with Fish. I haven't tried it. Like the beautiful prompt. Yeah, Tide. I may try it. I think I still... On the other hand, you know what? No, I don't even want to try it. I'm remembering how fucking annoying it is to configure, and I don't really want to. I've kind of gotten used to just running... just going somewhere and then running GS. I've gotten used to it, so now having that thing in my prompt isn't like necessary. And the horrible thing about Tide is how fucking annoying it is to configure when it comes to things that there aren't options for. You have to go into the files, change random parts of functions, redefine them, and then obviously we'll have to, or rather want to, sync those changes. So we create another Git repository and you run all of those functions to have them stored, and it's just so messy that I would rather just not have the feature. So I'm probably not going to try it. Fuck that, it's not worth it. If you can be happy with just the configuration options and not want some extra things, that's amazing, that's great. But that wasn't the case for me. So yeah. Let's change the name of this file to just verb, and public abstract class what? Right. And this is an abstract method what? Oh, it's private by default. Okay, that's good to know. Because I was wondering, like, you either put public or private. Usually, there are more options, but usually. But what is it by default? I guess private. That's good to know. Public. Yeah. Let's open the what the list verb as well. Okay, so what now? Now there's a name conflict, isn't it? Oh, I just didn't change the name. Okay. And it's starting to like get crazy again. Let's open OBS just to make sure. Oh no. I don't get it. Why is it sudden? Why does it suddenly do that? And it doesn't open anymore. Please open the fucking window. Finally. I'm losing color. Please fix yourself. Turning down video settings to even lower. Please fix yourself. All I can say. Maybe 60 FPS is too much. Who knows? For streaming at the very least. Or what else? Like, what else could I have possibly changed to be even worse to be able to fucking stream without it, like, going crazy? Let's look at HTOP. Where I press P once. God damn. Something is very obviously leaking, doesn't it? Like, just suddenly. Wow, it opened. And now it's fine. Yeah, it just became fine. Okay, sure, let's sort by CPU. Unsurprisingly, it's OBS. Yeah, it just got fine. That's strange. That's so strange. It's not the RAM, it's the CPU usage. Yeah. Oh, like this whole behavior you're saying? That makes sense. Hold up, if I'm now using 3 gigabytes, why is swap still being used completely? That's strange. So just sometimes, how fun, sometimes it will like overload the CPU and then maybe go back to normal. What? That is so incredibly strange. And my laptop is gonna take off. Just like Takeoff took off, unfortunately. He was the best out of Migos. Like, if Quavo died, that would be fine. Like, at least he's lame. But takeoff? Really? Like, oh. Because swap might be preferred for some data. Ah, interesting. Okay, well, let's continue and hope it works. Swap doesn't get unswapped immediately. It might take a while. That's fair, yeah. That's like fair. What? Right, and now we have to override. Really? And it's fine? Even though I'm using verb here and verb here, how does it understand what I mean without me specifying the namespace? What? How does it get it? That's strange. That's suspicious. Right? Like, I would expect that now that I have two of the same class names in my file, I have to specify like here command line and so on, but I don't need to do that. Why? That is weird. How does it just get it? I would usually be happy about this, but now I'm just suspicious. Is this for sure how it should be? Oh, and also it doesn't need, or rather it's not built to be inherited, so it might as well be sealed. I learned today that apparently Kotlin, all the classes are sealed by default, and then you make them open to inheritance explicitly. That's not the default on C#. Everything is open by default, and then you opt in to close them, which is weird, which is very weird, very, very strange. So I guess I'm just gonna start putting sealed in all of the classes unless I need to inherit them. Yeah. Override, yes. Oh, fuck yeah. The reason this is funny is because C# is stupid. Lol. When you use a name as an attribute, it will actually look up the name first. But if it can be used as an attribute, it will search, or it will also search for that name appended with attribute. No. Oh my god. Really? That's terrible. That's terrible. That's so funny. Are we really in the day and age where naming should ever matter in what something is? That's ridiculous. Yeah, it is. That's so stupid. Yeah, you're so right. That is so dumb. That is so dumb. Fuck, why did I open Discord? Wait, it was opened? Hold up. I want to be able to know. I guess shown when relevant. Right. This should be quitted from. Yeah. Also, the fact that classes are closed by default in Kotlin is one of the big mistakes in that language. Really? Really? You're the person saying this? I don't believe you. You're a fake. What? Why? Why? I disagree. Writing every single class with the understanding that it may be inherited even if you don't design it that way, is ridiculous. Like, I don't expect this class to be inherited, so I don't put the sealed keyword because, well, who would? And then some motherfucker will inherit this class, and turns out that, like, is not the behavior that should have been there. What? I'm surprised to hear that's your opinion. Hello. I would even go as far as to say that it should not be possible to mark a class as closed. What? It should be up to the receiver to specify whether they want to allow subclasses. I'm so surprised to hear that opinion from you. So what you're saying is that all classes should be written with the expectation that someone will inherit them? Because if you technically allow something, it very much can happen. And essentially what you're doing is allowing all classes to be inherited, even if they're not intended to. And yet you're the same person that argued that returning this for method chaining is a bad thing. And now you're saying that, oh, actually all classes should be open for inheritance. I don't understand you. One of my biggest disagrees with you. Yeah, no. What else? Huh? No, it does. Chat broke again. I have needed to inherit from closed classes so often in my life. So many classes are sealed for no good reason, such as yours there. No, it is a good reason, because why the fuck are you trying to inherit it? Get away. I didn't program it, I didn't design it with the intent of it to be inherited. The negative thing is that this class may at any point by anyone be inherited and everything will compile. Which is terrible. Because I don't intend this to be inherited, and therefore you shouldn't. Use composition. Like, come on. I have the opposite stance. Unless you specifically say I can do stuff with it, I'm not trusting that it's built to be understandable. Unless you specifically say I can do stuff with it, I'm not trusting that it's built to be understandable. Yeah. How can you just go and say, oh, it's probably fine if I inherit it? No, I wouldn't trust it at all. Because there's nothing saying, oh, this is designed with you in mind, that it should be inherited. What about some private things that you didn't make protected? So a bunch of things that should be available to you aren't. It's one of the examples of making a class that's not supposed to be inherited. So yeah, once again, use fucking composition. There's always a use case for subclassing, but sometimes you just want to deal with one specific class, so you should be able to restrict it per parameter, not per class. What do you mean by that? It's not that you don't intend this class to be inherited from, it's that the method you use it in doesn't indent to receive subclasses. Oh, I guess. So you should be able to restrict that when declaring your method. But instead of forcing all users of the class to bend over backward. backwards. So you're saying that inheritance restrictions should be per method instead of per class. Maybe. Also, what if you are inheriting a method that has very strong side effects that could rely on an internal state machine that you're messing with, thinking is just a pure func? Exactly. It's like a sea of no guarantees. So unless it's obvious that something is supposed to be inherited, I'm not going to. And I shouldn't be able to. A class itself couldn't care less if it's subclassed. It's only the methods that use it that could care about it. That's fair, yeah. I guess my only argument against that is that wouldn't it make things far more complex for close to no reason? Maybe not. But, like, Interesting. Like, very, very interesting. Oh, wait. Isn't there, like, final? No? Am I thinking of something else? Oh, right, financial. So there's, like... What did I do? God. There's, like, virtual override, and I think there is a keyword that means that I override, and this is like the final override that I do. Maybe it's just here? No? Am I going crazy? I might be. Okay, so now all of those implement, or rather derive, from the verb abstract class. Maybe, yeah. I probably am. Fuck, what is called solid? No, not fucking interpolation. Wait, what are the principles of OP? Metamorphism or whatever? I don't remember what it's exactly called, but we're talking about that here. And I'm not exactly like a master at it. It doesn't feel very good to me. Because with that, however it's called once again, yes, polymorphism, thank you. With polymorphism, not only do you not know whether a function, or a method I guess, has side effects or not only do you not know if it modifies some instance data, or metamorphism. Isn't that a hentai, by the way? Yeah, so not only do you not know those things, you also don't know how it behaves depending on where you call it from. Being able to call something from different places, it's convenient, sure, but I think it brings in a lot of complexity that is not helpful. At least, that's how it feels like to begin with. I might not be seeing the full picture, of course, but it feels like, is this more helpful than it is harmful? I don't know. That's currently what I'm doing, technically. I'm using polymorphism to remove some lines of code. What? Seriously? Verb options. So this should in theory work. It's one of my favorite phrases to say. So this should in theory work. Okay, so .NET run list. Okay, so it works. So this is an example of using polymorphism and in this specific case it removes a few lines which is like, all right, sure, but it may bring more bugs than it brings in, I guess, convenience. Okay, fucking, what's his name? I forget. I hope to see you back. Boop boop. Yeah, prime engine mode. Polymorphism is bad. Always. It's never good. It's horrible. There's absolutely not a single situation where it is helpful and a good thing to do. He just very often says hot takes, which are very often just ridiculous. That's why prime engine mode. Nah, like this. I know, right? Yeah. The stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended... what's the recommended? 4,500. Wouldn't that take more resources? How are you going to implement or... like, fucking... I can't read! YouTube! Fix your app! How are you going to implement ORD in Rust without polymorphism? I don't even fucking know what ORD is. So it's very simple. I won't. Oh, oh, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, simple. Don't. Instead of like math operations, just make them into functions. And have... No, actually, don't override functions. Add only accepts 2 things. And if you want more, you wrap it into another add. Because this is what we call good language design. Yeah, that would be ridiculous. What are you doing? I am working on my chore tracker, which lets you... Can you guess what? It lets you track your chores and what was the last time you did them in days. Now I wonder if... What do you mean open widget? Yeah. I wonder, maybe me setting a bitrate to be higher will fix things? That's actually possible. I just have to not forget. Oh, and I can't... Actually, no, I can still make a note. Let's go to... Noties. Yeah, here. Cool. Change bitrate to 45K. ORD is the trait that makes you implement the ordering of a struct. Oh, you can't do Brad without implementing ORD. Oh, that's interesting. Brad is indeed bigger or equal to bread. That makes sense. Right, so all this shit, in theory, now works. So let's try it out. .NET run, remove test because we don't need it anymore. It's so slow because it's also building and like checking things. So it's not actually that slow. I vacuumed today, however, I don't know if I want to even track that. Do vacuum, boop. I'm from Russia and I'm not a bro. I'm trans. You can see my pronouns here. I'm from Russia, unfortunately. Okay, so .NET run list. Cool. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. This isn't a Gen 2 video. I actually now regret the distro that I chose. Turns out Manjaro exists. It's based on Arch and it has rolling releases. Why the fuck did I pick Debian? With its goofy sudo apt install blah 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 blah. Where I could have, fuck, why did I open it again? Where I could fucking choose Manjaro, but I guess that's the path of a Linux user. You just continuously try distributions until you get it, I guess. True, I am from the internet. That's correct. That's the correct answer. Yeah, I would regret my life choices if I picked Arch, probably, because more likely than not, I wouldn't be happily streaming right now. I would still be trying to figure out some odd fucking issue that I don't have experience with. Maybe have lost Windows, or maybe Linux 2 broke my fucking bootloader or whatever. And you can't say, oh, just fix it like this, because I wouldn't know how to fix it. I wouldn't know who to contact. And they, like, fair enough, wouldn't put in as much energy as I would like to fix that issue, because it's not their problem. But with Manjaro, I imagine it's a more, like, pre-built distribution where I wouldn't have to worry as much. You're probably using packages that are older than all of us in chat combined. Combined? That's crazy. It's pretty bad and it would have been worse. Really? Why? Why is it worse? This whole thing started right now. It's too soon. It's like I've been on Linux and Debian to add like 3 days. This is the 4th one. It's too fast to hop already. But this makes me feel a bit better, I guess. You pick one and you run with it. No need to distro hop if you're comfortable. Well, that's the thing. I'm never comfortable for too long. Usually I use something for a while and then I'm like, fuck, it's not good enough, and I keep trying things kind of permanently. So I'm probably going to become a distro hopper for better or worse. Just use a hybrid release distro. I mean, if I can get rolling release, that's obviously better. Just stating the fact that this is not a Gen 2. You are correct. You're very much correct. Isn't that scary as you think? I don't know. I think you're saying that from the bias of your experiences, and you know Linux mega more than me. Actually, Manjaro devs are like that too. It's pretty stable as long as you don't update. Stability is not quite what I'm worried about, more so like setting up the system for the first time and having to install all the randomest shit that I wouldn't know how to get. Oh god, yeah, this has already been kind of horrible on Debian, trying to install something and you're like, oh, do some fucking black magic trying to get the repository to get that from. And it's true that there are a lot more things in the Arch repository, but I feel like I would have to go through even more trouble trying to understand where to download stuff from to get functionality that I would immediately expect to have to begin with. And I don't know what I fucking need. Window manager, desktop environment, all that. I don't know how to install it, how to set it up, how to configure it. I don't know shit. Been running vanilla Arch for like 4 years straight now with next to no issues. Well, yeah, the issues are going to be when you start using it. I don't imagine it's going to like end up breaking. It's broken to begin with, and then you fix it, and then it's great. That's what I imagine is the case. Rather than you start with a working distribution, you don't, and then it may break. What I'm scared for is that I start with a broken distribution that I have to figure out how to fix, and I don't know how. Actually, I ran and used Debian for 8 years and then started using Gen 2 because Gen 2 fixes packages for me. But that's because I'm super opinionated. That's fair. Is it? How so? Doesn't hybrid imply that it's slower? Nvidia broke my laptop touchpad 2 times in 1 month. God damn, that was my last month, of course. This fucking Nvidia. When I started using Arch, I was virtually at the same level as you are now, maybe slightly more experience. Back then, Arch install didn't exist yet, and I still managed to install it. I think you're just amazing like that. And you also underestimate my OCD. If something didn't work absolutely correctly, I would literally run on walls. Software sparks up my OCD very effectively. So, that sounds so scary. Well, no, not GNOME, KDE. That's like fair. But also, I won't have a Joshua Lee along with me always. The argument of, oh, just do this doesn't ever work because how the fuck would I know that? A lot of hyper-specific things are incredibly hard to search for. So you end up being lost like a kitten. And then somebody says, oh, you should have just done that. And you couldn't get that information when you actually needed it. And these kind of issues are going to pop up all over the place. Hybrid isn't better than rolling, and rolling isn't better than a hybrid. What's the difference? What does hybrid imply? But if you're wanting to learn how to install and configure a minimal distro like Arch or Gen 2, just read their installation instructions. I think it's not yet the time for me. I'll need to sit around on Debian for some time, and once I learn enough stuff, I guess once I become opinionated enough on things, then I'll know what I'm doing, and then I'll jump to Arch. In my opinion, one of the most important things for choosing distro is community. True. Why I am interested in Arch so much is that all the installation stuff is usually just in the Arch repository and you just install it and that's it. And a lot of programs are like, oh, if you want to install it, for Arch it's very simple. For Ubuntu, it's very difficult. I found that very often to be the case. Huh, I see. Services X Server Desktop Manager Plasma 5 enable true. I mean, yeah. Once again, my point of how the fuck would I know that? And it's possible that I wouldn't be able to find it easily either. So for someone like me, I guess what is more treasureful so far is having a distribution that I am able to make work. Hybrid is better than freeze feature updates in favor of stability patches. Same, and that's why I initially got interested in Arch too. Okay, let's actually continue trying things out. One thing that I did today is I washed my water bottle, so let's add that. Cool, and now let's list. Nice. Cool. Amazing. It does that sometimes, unfortunately. YouTube just randomly deletes messages. I think if you like use some wrong word, and it's very annoying because I don't have any blocked words. I should add some like very obvious ones, maybe, but I have 0 words in my list. Oh my god, I'm so sorry for you. I hate Lua. I wish you the best because goddamn. To be fair, .NET is kinda like Lua compared to Rust. I fucking despise Lua. You kinda love Lua? Really? How? I'm surprised. Maybe I haven't gotten into the cool things about Lua yet, but I hate it. It lacks a lot of the features that I find so fucking useful, where I have to reinvent the fucking wheel for the simplest of things. So fast. I mean, that's true, but it's not that often that speed is as important as programmer experience. Yeah, so let's add everything and then git restore staged this. So we end up adding everything except the readme. Now let's commit and push it. Verbs derive from abstract class. Run is called from there. Boop. Not for making programs, for making user configs or similar. Yeah, that's a good use. That's fair. I guess that's why it's being used for NeoVim. I just really dislike using the language. It's so inconvenient. Like, I would rather use AHK. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, he has HK over Lua. Insane. How long have I been streaming for? An hour. And I guess like plus 30 minutes, more or less. Would rather use it instead of Python or Haskell. I agree with Python because then Python is just like much slower, where it may eventually become noticeable. Well, maybe not. On the same level as in terms of feel for me, really. For me, HK is probably still my favorite language. I guess I'm just sentimental towards it. A lot of things are very easy to do in there. Axel Fubler, that's how you pronounce it. If you plan to use Windows mainly, I mega recommend getting better at AutoHotkey because the power you gain is actually kind of greater than what you have on Linux. On Linux, it's just kind of easier to implement that functionality. Or rather, to just configure it because it's already there. But with AutoHotkey, you have more power that's easier to do. I have no water. And it's not iced. Ugh. Yeah, I'm gonna be ending stream because it's way too hot again. I think that's what happens when you talk a lot. You heat up, and